Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to Saints TV Weekly for August 22nd, post-season. Now, the season is officially done, it's wrapped up. We played our final game of the season yesterday against Sydney, 4:40 at Marvel, which was more, I guess, a farewell game for a number of players. Obviously, Paddy Ryder, the big one. Really sad to see him finish up. Dan Hanbury, who didn't really play the amount of games that we all kind of planned when he signed on a couple of years ago. And then you've got Dean Kent, who in his 100th game of his career finished up against the Sydney Swans and played a quarter or two at the end as he was the Medi sub at the start of the game. So I think the result was kind of secondary to a lot of things. And in the end, the result was, Sydney Swans win 88-74. We fought pretty hard in the last quarter and looked like we could have pinched it. Should have been classic Saints style. But for the majority of the game, the Sydney kind of held us at arm's length and they had a bit more class going forward and just better ball use overall. They didn't turn it over in critical positions like we did, which cost us a couple of goals, and pretty much that was the difference in the end. Highlights, obviously Max King kicked 5, and then I think the big one for everyone is Benny Long, seeing the way he played. 27 disposals, I think, on top of that with a goal and 13 marks. Not to mention, I think he laid 3 tackles as well. So that was his best game for the club in his career, easily. And you'd think he'd probably get Sainer of the round and maybe even a couple of votes in the Brownlow based on that performance, because that was unreal the way he played, and 3 speckies on top of that. So my full review of that game is already on the channel, so I won't go into too much detail, but if you want to watch that after this, just go on over to the Saints TV YouTube channel and you'll find my review there to watch in full. In terms of VFL, they wrapped up as well, and Sandringham finished the year with a really good win. I think they finished around 10th or 11th on the ladder in the VFL, which, I mean, is pretty much where the AFL team finished in the end. We finished 10th as an AFL club, so VFL and AFL are really aligned with a need for growth and a need for improvement. They both started the year very well. Sandy was flying in the first 10 weeks, just like we were. And, when you start losing, you kind of look to Sandy and pick a few plays from there, and inevitably that kind of cost them, I guess, a strong lineup for the second half of the year, because we were taking players from Sandy regularly, and that kind of cost them a few games, and they missed out on finals as well. But they did play Williamstown and they won by 40 points. The key highlight for me was probably Beitel. He had 28 or 27 disposals, 2 goals, and 13 tackles on top of that. It's a bittersweet, because I've heard that we've offered him a 1-year deal, and I don't know how accurate this is, but a 1-year deal has been put forward from the club. But I'm hearing that Essendon are looking to beat that and go a bit higher, maybe 2 or 3 years for Beitel, and I think he's considering that. So it would be a massive loss for us if we lost a player like Jack Beitel, because I really do think he's got a big future in AFL, and I'd love to think that we're smart enough to keep our young blokes around, even if he hasn't played much this year, just to give him a 2-year deal and invest in him, and not these 1-year deals, because that doesn't show trust within the player. I think we need to trust him. I think he's got enough talent, enough skill to make it as an AFL player, and God knows we need some more good mids to support our aging midfield with Ross and Crouchy and Steely in there. So I'd love to keep Beitel, but he was a standout in a very good win and a good sign-off for season 2022 for the Sandy team, winning by 40 points against Williamstown. Now, I went to the open day on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. It was great to see the boys run out and good to chat to a lot of Sainers, so thanks for everyone for having a chat. It was good to hear the mixed opinions of the year and what people really think about our list and the club, and everyone thinks differently, which is really cool. So some people don't think we're in that much trouble, and some people think we're in a lot of trouble. So it's good to chat to a few locals. But the big news to come from that day, outside of Paddy Ryder retiring, was the fact that we hit 60,000 members for the year for the first time ever. Our biggest membership tally in the history of the club in our 149 years. So a huge effort for all the Sainers. So all of you watching that have signed up for membership this year, good work. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next year, based on the fact that we didn't make finals this year. To hit 60,000 for a club like us that's had limited success and all the troubles that we've gone through as Sainers in our lives, that's a huge effort. So good work, Sainers, and let's hope we can do it next year. Now for the juicy news, and that is Bassett. It's a bit ironic that they say it's an external review that we're going into, because Bassett and Leflin are kind of running it, and they've been internal for the last 3 or 4 years. I don't really see this as a full external review, although we are getting Noble, the former North Melbourne coach David Noble, to chip in, and a lot of people are quick to say, oh, why are we getting him? You know, he got sacked from a shit club and he didn't win games. But he has got some seriously good experience in the industry as an executive at a lot of clubs, and he's the main man that kind of led Brisbane and their improvement under Chris Fagan. And he's got a lot of experience in a lot of successful teams. So I think we need to take him seriously and get players, ex-players, ex-coaches, all these personalities. I think Nick Rewalt's definitely going to be part of this. We need to have a full review and really take it seriously. Not like last year where it was a mid-season review and we supposedly had, honest talks and all that crap. This needs to be a full from top to bottom, players, coaches, staff, everyone involved. We need to review this and take it very seriously, because you can't have a review every year. I mean, if you don't want to rebuild the club, that's a sign, you're kind of in no man's land and you're just reviewing constantly and you're not really doing anything. But I'm hoping that this year we take that off-season review very seriously and we put some steps in place to really grow as a club. Excited to see what the club do there, and I'm really hoping we are ruthless with this sort of assessment. And on top of that, and speaking of big news, the other one to come from the week was Brad Hill supposedly is keen to leave Moorabbin, potentially to North Melbourne, where he could be reunited with Alistair Clarkson, his former coach from his earlier years. He's on a fairly big deal. I think he's got 2 years left on his contract on big money. So it's going to be a bit of a battle to see if there's any clubs, any suitors out there that are willing to take him on board and to obviously take his salary on board. I have a feeling if he did leave, we'd probably chip in and pay for some of it. And this isn't the club driving this. I think this is really coming from Brad Hill and his family. And I just think that based on, how he's gone the last couple of years at the club and the reception from the fans and the comments online and the abuse, I think he's really looking for a fresh start. And from all reports, the boys love him, the club loves him, but it's kind of just, I think, the way he feels within the 4 walls. And I guess any AFL player wants to be playing football for a club where he feels welcome and the fans really support him. And I think probably Brad Hill doesn't feel that, and I completely understand. I think the key thing for us is if he does want to go, we really need to make sure that we get something good in return. North Melbourne will have a lot of draft picks at their disposal this year, obviously finishing bottom. So whether we can get a second rounder, we can use that to pinch someone like a Cam Zurhaar, who's out of contract at the moment. Even a Ben Mackay as a defender would be amazing. So there's a lot of, I think it gives us flexibility. And you need to have buy-in from every player to win a flag. And if Brad Hill's not completely buying into St Kilda, then unfortunately I think, when you've got a bad relationship, what do? You break up. So I think, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But that's the news. It's not locked in. It's still very rumour-based. But the trade season for us will kick off very soon. And I'll be reporting on that very keenly to see all the movements of Brad Hill. We've got plenty of other players that could be moving on as well. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I will report it on Saints TV as soon as I know it. Outside of that juicy goss, we've got to finish off with the player ratings for round 23. Now, we didn't get the win, but there were some good performances yesterday, so let's get straight into it. We've got Jack Steele, 1 goal, 27 disposals, 10 marks, 9 tackles. Great performance from Jack Steele. It was a great goal, by the way, in the last quarter. I really did not expect him to kick it, but he did. He made me eat my words, so I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I thought that was a great performance. Dan Butler, 1 goal, 11 disposals, 7 tackles, so that's really good that his pressure was on, but only the 1 goal. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Dan Hanbury, finishing up on the 30 disposals, 6 tackles, and 2 marks, if you don't mind. That was a great effort for Dan Hanbury. Great to see him finish off against his old club, not with the win, but with a good performance, and he really did give it his all in his last game. So I'll give him an 8 out of 10. That was a great effort from Dan Hanbury. Jack Sinclair, 27 disposals, 5 tackles. His ball use was elite again. Some of the kicks he was doing was ridiculous. When we were missing targets, easy targets, he was hitting them 35 metres under pressure, right on the lead. It was amazing to watch. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I thought Tom Campbell was pretty good. He had the 12 disposals, won a few free kicks, which was good. He's very physical in the ruck. I think that supported Rowan Marshall really well. And he had the 17 hit-outs. So he got around the ground, 4 tackles, 5 marks. I think we should keep him on. I don't know if he's contracted next year, but I'd love to keep him on for another year. I think he deserves it. And he's been very good at VFL level. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Dean Kent came on very late, only the 4 disposals, but he got the 4 tackles. Tried to get involved late, but he only played the 30 minutes of the game. I'll just give him a 5. But again, congratulations on a great career. Dean Kent, 100 games, played for Melbourne, played for the Saints. And obviously his best game was probably against Melbourne when he won us the game. Kicked a couple of goals against them, I think might have been 2019. So at least he's got that to tip his hat to. Brad Hill, only the 18 disposals, 3 tackles. Was really kind of not to be seen as an impactful type game. So I'll give him a 5 as well. Zachy Jones, he had the 14, but it felt like he had the ball a lot more. 3 tackles, 4 marks, 5 as well. Benny Long, I'm not even going to talk about his stats. 10, absolute 10 out of 10 game. That was phenomenal. Awesome for Ben Long. I really hope he sticks around, and he's not a player that's on the trade table. He's a heart and soul player, and every club needs them. And he was just outstanding yesterday. Seb Ross, 29, a point, 3 tackles and 5 marks. Very good game for Seb. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Rowan Marshall, very, very quiet. I'm not sure if it was just because he played forward more and they gave Tom Campbell more of a run in the ruck, in the centre. But he had the 8 disposals, which is very low for his standards, 21 hit-outs. That's probably a 5 out of 10 for me. Mitch Owens kicked a point, 18 disposals, 2 tackles. Great effort for Mitch Owens. A very physical player, and I love watching him play, and he's going to be a very good player for us in the future. I will give him a 7 out of 10. Hunter Clark, only the 4, went off, I think, with injury in the first term, so I won't give him a rating. Jack Higgins, 1 goal, 13 disposals, and 7 marks. Moved around the ground really well, presented well. I'll give him a 6. Ben Patton, 20 disposals, although I didn't use all of them well. I think a lot of them were just long kicks down the line. He had the 8 marks, got in the way of his forwards really well. I think that was the best part of his game, was his marking more than his kicking. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Winhager, 2 points, 19 disposals, 6 marks, only the 1 tackle, a bit quieter than previous weeks, but still a solid outing for Marcus. I'll give him a 6. Wanganeen Malira, that was Wanganeen Malira. This is Marcus Winhager now. He kicked 1 goal, 11 disposals, and only the 1 tackle, so I might even give him a 5. Wanganeen 6 and Winhager a 5. Dougal Howard 12, fairly quiet game. Didn't do too much wrong, but didn't do anything outstanding. He took 9 marks, which was good, but overall I think their forwards kind of got hold of us a little bit. I'll give him a 5. Max King, 5 goals straight, 12 disposals, 7 marks. That's what you want from Max King. That's a 9 out of 10 for me. Based on last week and the hate that he got in the media and from the fans, I think that's an amazing return, and he backed himself, and he proves that he's going to be a very special player for us in the long term. Jared Lynott, 20 disposals, 9 marks. He was very good by foot. I'll give him a 7. Tim Membry, 1 goal, 14 disposals, 8 marks as well. Excellent game around the ground, and that's kind of the standard skunk game. A good, 1 or 2 goals, plenty of marks and plenty of disposals. That's a 7 for me. And Cal Wilkie, 13 disposals, 7 marks. Pretty quiet game by his standards, so I'll give him a 6. So yeah, there you go. That is the last player ratings for the season, Saners. I may do another video later on in the off-season, just adding up all the player rating scores, and we can do kind of the official player ratings for the year, the final tally. Pretty sure Jack Sinclair's going to win that by a fair way, but it'd be interesting to see what my overall ratings were for the year and the averages for every player across the list. That is it for Saints TV Weekly for another week. Saints TV Weekly will continue for at least the next month or 2. We'll see how it goes. We'll slow down on that, I guess, towards the end of the year, and I'll take a break, but for now, I'll keep it going because I absolutely love it, and there's going to be so much news to report on. A lot of internal changes I'm feeling at the club, player trades, all of that, the draft, the best and fairest in a couple of weeks. There's going to be a lot to talk about, and obviously the podcast will be up tonight. We'll keep that going for a little bit as well, and then the AFLW podcast will kick off in the next week or 2 with Marshy running that, which will be great. So I'll leave it there, Sainers. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. It's been amazing. And if you're watching this and you really like it, please subscribe. It's just a little click of the button and you'll get notified on all of my videos. A lot of them are going to be exclusive to YouTube in the next couple of months. No live reviews or previews, obviously. There's going to be exclusive videos coming out on YouTube every week. So if you want to watch those, don't miss out. Hit subscribe and you'll get notified on all of them, and comment your thoughts about the club, about the news, anything, and we'll discuss it in the comments as well. So take care, Sainers. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video on Saints TV. Enjoy your week, Sainers, and go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.